Hi, everyone. This is your host, Kristen Howe, and I am so excited to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Jim Oliver. Jim is an Emmy Award-winning musician, sound studio designer and consultant, innovative sound engineer, and a charismatic performer. He has researched and discovered unique combinations of melodic notes and chord progressions that evoke the relaxation response, and he incorporates this into his compositions. Jim's relaxing music is a beautiful blend of art and science that really works. Dr. Bruce Lipton enjoys playing this music while writing and says he finds Jim's music to be calming and intellectually stimulating. Jim is absolutely passionate about helping people heal and experience transformation through the power of sound. His music coaxes the human spirit into remembering how awesome it truly is. And on today's call, you're actually going to be able to listen to some of Jim's soothing music, and you'll instantly feel the nurturing and rejuvenating effects. Now, also on the call today, you'll discover how sound and music really work, and how music can help balance and restore wellness to your body, mind, spirit, and emotions. You'll also discover why music has healing effects and integrates cellular healing. And, as I said, you will experience unique musical energy transmissions throughout this call that will absolutely be huge components in terms of manifesting an abundance. So I know everybody can't wait. I can't wait either. Jim, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the call.
Hi, Kristen, and hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining us and creating the space for us to be together today.
I can't wait to do this. I was actually able to really get into and listen to some of your music, and I just have to say, it's so beautiful, and I was so focused. So I completely agree with what Dr. Bruce Lipton said about it. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So thank you for that, by the way, and thanking you in advance because I know you're going to play some of that on the call today, and I just can't wait to share that with this extraordinary group of people that have tuned in. To get started, what I'd love to do is have you share a couple of minutes of your story, and in particular here with Manifest Everything Now, a lot of what we're interested in is those turnarounds that you experienced in your life that allowed you to manifest your current level of success.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. My musical career began very, very early in life. My first recollection in life was about 3 years old, and I was listening to my uncle play piano and organ, and this wonderful sparkling gold energy came into me, and I knew that that was my life's path, to play music. I started piano lessons at about age 5, and I was the kind of kid that I would rather be in practicing piano than out running around with my buddies riding bikes and, tossing the ball around. So it was something that I was just so impassioned with. When I would play piano, I noticed that certain things in the room would vibrate when I played certain notes, and that was an indication of what's called sympathetic vibration or harmonic resonance, where two objects of the same frequency or resonance, that when one starts to vibrate, the other will start to vibrate, like the instrument a sitar, where you have strings that you play and then there's drone strings underneath it that then resonate because of the vibration of the strings you're playing right next to them. I always observed how people's moods would change when I would play music. We'd have family gatherings, and as a kid, they'd say, "Oh, Jim, would you play the organ for us?" And I'd sit down, and immediately, people who were really uptight and wound up would just calm down. People who were kind of quiet and subdued would, next thing you know, they'd be up dancing. Sometimes if I was playing, more up-tempo music. It was a real transformation. And in later years, I had friends that would come over to my house and say, "Hey, would you play for me for a little while? I had a really tough day, and would you play for me?" And I'd sit them down on the sofa, and in a few minutes, they'd be calm, and a lot of times would just fall asleep. And I thought, wow, this is something I want to do to help people be empowered with themselves, to help them help themselves. And in the context of this program, in manifesting, manifestation is setting a clear intent, picturing in your mind what it is you want to occur, whether it be abundance, whether it be a health issue, a relationship issue, a work issue, a career issue, whatever it is, picture that, create the resolution in your mind, and then experience that and bring it in on a cellular level. And what better way to resonate with the body, mind, and spirit and emotional body than music? It directly vibrates the cells of the body. We're over 80% water, so when you drop a pebble in a calm pool of water, you see those ripples. Well, that's just the way sound works. Resonating, vibrating, offering balance and harmony to a system that might be experiencing distress, dis-ease, disharmony, distortion. My wife gave me a book back in the early 80s, and it was work by Hans Jenny, and then later taken up by Peter Guy Manners, where they would take a plate of steel and pour sand or salt or talcum powder on it, and they put a speaker underneath and would then play a vibration, a specific frequency into that. And the sand, this pile of sand, would just migrate into a beautiful mandala-like shape. Change the frequency, the patterns of the sand would change. The higher the frequency, the closer the patterns got. And I thought, isn't this perfect? How sound can be used to reorganize or to offer the opportunity to reorganize something that's experiencing distress, distortion, dis-ease, disharmony. I took that another step further, working with a kinesiologist, looking at the waveform. That's the way the sound travels through the air. A flute sound is a sine wave. A woodwind sound, like a clarinet, is a square wave. And if you have an oscilloscope, which shows you a picture of sound, that is exactly the image that you get. You get this square or S on its side for a sine wave, or a sawtooth wave, like for brass sounds, trumpets, trombones. And we did testing to see how you find the right frequency, but you also have to find the right waveform, so that a weak muscle test would go strong when you had the correct waveform and specific frequency, which relates to the pitch of the note and the instrument sound. And then took that a step further of incorporating that into chord progressions, modulations, intervals, major key, minor key, tempo, rhythms. And when you look historically, how music has been used, in Native American terms, the drumming, smoke signals, lots of wonderful ceremonial use of music for celebration, for invoking rain. The use of sound and intent is long standing in our history and our evolution. So I just wanted to create music that helps people engage with themselves, to create a vibrational model of you in your optimal state that then you can choose to resonate with. We just say, here's the invitation, here's this piece of music that creates a safe, peaceful environment where you can set your intention, you can go deeply into yourself and feel, see, and experience just what it is. A very unique opportunity to explore your own inner consciousness and be self-empowered to move through whatever it is you're trying to work with.
Wow, I love that. Now, so talk to me about this. Why is it, and I understand what you were saying, that it actually, music, what did you say, organizes? I think that, or is that the,
Sure.
is that the term used?
Yeah,
okay, I
right.
think that's so.
Yeah, just reorganizes, right.
So when we talk about, healing effects and cellular healing, can you explain a little bit more of how that exactly works? Help me wrap my brain around this in terms of.
Sure.
because I'm not as scientific.
Well, and I'm not a scientist either. It's been really observational and reading, there's an abundance of research out there today of how so much of dis-ease is caused by stress. And stress pulls that organized field out of balance, out of harmony. So when you have a sound wave, which just by its nature, if you pluck a guitar string, as much goes above the center line as goes below the center line. It's this balanced form of energy, of push-pull, as it were. And the faster it vibrates, the higher the frequency. And using that information, how can you resonate the cells of the body? There's been studies where they've worked with the cancer cells in petri dishes and have, been able to neutralize that. One of the things that I saw very early in life was about amputees. I saw pictures where if someone lost their hand, for example, and they were having phantom pain, which is the hand feels like it's still there and it still hurts. So they would put electrodes on either side of the stump, and there was a device that was attached where the person could dial in the frequency and the intensity. And when they got it right, and it was something that they just did themselves, they just rotated the dial and got the frequency and got the intensity, the volume of it, and the pain would go away. And what they also observed in some cases were people starting to grow fingers back out of the stump.
Wow.
And I thought, well, the body is regenerative. If you get a scratch, that'll heal itself. If you get a cut, that'll heal itself. So at what point of that have we said, okay, this we can heal and this we can't heal? Where did we draw the line that said that'll heal, this won't? So that just showed me how specific sounds, frequencies, could be used not only to help with the pain, but it also initiated a regenerative response. And then looking further, if a salamander loses its tail, it grows a new one. If a starfish loses an arm, it grows a new one. So it just got me thinking, well, that potential does exist. And in the case of the person with the amputation, it was triggered by vibration, by frequency. Einstein said it so well. He said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics.
Okay, cool. That really made it clear for me, sort of the getting into alignment with the frequency. So my question for you is, does this apply to healing and being sort of in your optimal physical state, as well as manifesting, a life of ease and harmony? Does it really work across the boards, or is it just for physical healing?
I feel it works totally across the board, because we're not just our physical body. We have the mental, spirit, emotional, and I feel the emotional part is really the key. And music, because of chord progressions, modulations, major key, minor key, it's like a soundtrack. And that's the role of a soundtrack in a film, is to portray, represent, and guide the emotional track of the film. So when you create music, that's intentionality. And when I do the music, I just ask for what will support people for their highest good to be what comes through, and just let the music flow through and let people experience it in their own unique way. So let's say you're experiencing something going on with your knees, let's say. Okay. Well, in the music, there could be, there will be frequencies that will resonate with your knees, so that when you get to that part of the music, you're feeling it vibrating there. Well, someone else who might be having lower back problem, when the music and the vibration is flowing through, if there's a little bit of resistance or like a massage therapist, if they're working and it's like, oh, well, here's a muscle that's, got a knot in it. So now your attention is called to there. So everybody perceives the music in their own unique way. And interestingly enough, I get so many letters from people about, I've been listening to this piece of music for years and years and years, and every time I listen to it, it feels like a different piece of music. Does the music change on the CD? And it's like, well, the music is the same on the CD, but your perception of it changes. Your experience of it changes because there's so much vibration in the music. I use sustained tones quite a bit, which you'll hear in the samples. I'll start out with a sustained tone, like an alignment tone or a tone of attunement or activation, however you experience it. And then the music unfolds from that. And sometimes I'm doing arpeggios where the music just goes and just sweeps through, flowing through, the fluid, the bone, tissue, muscle, the energy fields. And wherever you have something going on, that's where that little bit of resistance perhaps or restriction, your attention is drawn to that. And then as the music, continues to evolve, those areas resolve. And then something else may show up. Oh, well, I've got this little thing in my feet, or I've got this grounding component, or whatever it is. And then I always complete the music for integration. There's a resolution that occurs with the music. So in the context of the music, I use chords that are called suspended chords that lead you to a resolution and then resolve that. So there's suspension and resolution, which creates the energetic pattern of problem and solution, problem and solution. Interesting, isn't it? And it really worked.
I love this because even what you were saying, how, you have people listen to it and they go, does the music change on the CD? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like what you're saying is the music doesn't change on the CD, but how you're resonating at that time changes, so the music sounds different to you and feels different to you, correct?
Absolutely. But,
that's so exciting because it gives all of it sort of this infinite ability to tap into whatever's going on with you. What an amazing thing. It's my job to sort of feel where everybody is. Can I ask you to play us a sample now? Is this a good time?
Absolutely. Let's play Gazing Within. And you'll notice how quickly, almost immediately, when the music starts, how you engage with it, breathe into it, give yourself permission to participate with the flow and the nurturing love that the music is offering, and allow that to flow deeply within yourself. Set an intention, ask for what it may be. It may be something specific, or just ask for something in general. Breathe in and be fully present with the music, and then just allow yourself to experience Gazing Within, which actually was done, Kenji Kamara, my buddy Kenji, was in the studio when we did this music. So it's got his wonderful energy on it, too. A lot of people are familiar with Kenji.
I love Kenji, so that's amazing.
Cool.
So that's fantastic. Okay, so again, can you give us the title of this?
This is Gazing Within.
Okay, so what I love about that, and tell me if this is bizarre, Jim, but my fingers are tingling. Is that weird? Okay. No, it's not weird. Okay.
Kristen, that is so common. I get emails after I do a call or a presentation and play the music. I get emails, people that say, my body was tingling and vibrating. I was resonating for, hours and hours after the call. I went to bed and it was just like I woke up in the morning and my body was still resonating. That's how quickly, in only a little over 3 minutes, when you have music that's created with that intentionality of helping people help themselves in their own self-discovery, their own awakening, accessing their own divine intelligence, their own optimization, you are a whole, total, perfect divine being right here, right now. And the music helps you remember.
I love the remember. I mean, that's so powerful, and it's something that I so completely believe is that we are all, in a sense, whole, and so we just need to remember it. So what are some of the ways that we can, when we listen to music like this, what is, and this is great because everybody listen up, we are going to do a couple of more samples, so whatever Jim answers here, pay attention. What can we do to really maximize the benefit from listening to your music?
Very good, thank you. First thing is, this is your time and this is your space, so really honor yourself. Turn off the phones, turn off the TV, give yourself that quiet space as much as you possibly can. Breathe deeply. Sometimes their mental chatter is going on, and just focusing on your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And that helps you concentrate on one thing. The mind, it'll multitask, but it really can only think about one thing at a time. So if you're focused on the breath, that gives you the opportunity to not have so much of the other chatter of I got to do this and that and the kids and the house and the car and the tires and, cooking and all the things that are going on. So give yourself that permission to participate. Breathe deeply in with the music. We invite people to stand with the innocence of a child. Stand in that pure, divine innocence and allow themselves to receive. Now, one of the things that's really wonderful with the music is that it's very convenient. Not only is it something that you'll use over and over and over again for years and years and years to come. I have recordings that I did 30 years ago that massage therapists still write to me and say, I bought Restive Woman in 1982 and I still play that piece of music every day or every week. It's still one of my favorites. So it's something you'll have for a long time. You'll develop a relationship with it so that when there's something going on, just ask, what's the right piece of music? And the title will just come up to you, or your hand will swing the dial of the MP3, or if you're doing CDs, it'll go pull the right disc out of the case. So allow yourself that connection, that interaction to ask, what's the right piece of music for me to choose? Listening with speakers, if you can do that, if you're, like perhaps on this call, you're listening from your computer, having speakers is really excellent because the sound moves and it resonates with your body. Although I will say that in our testing, there were times when we wanted to find out just, did it have to be loud? Did it have to be aimed at here or there? And we played the sounds through headphones, and we just clamped the headphones, rested them on the person's leg or their foot or on their arm and had it playing at such a low volume that the ears really couldn't hear it. And they still responded as if you were hearing it. because you're vibrating the cells. You know, the blood circulates through your body, and within a very short period of time, you know, a couple or more minutes, it's circulated through your whole body. So it is good, though, to have speakers, especially, you know, these days you can get a subwoofer, which is the low bass. I use a lot of low bass, and the bass is very, very important in this kind of music because bass is the carrier wave for the higher frequencies. I had an oscilloscope in the studio, and you play a bass wave, and it's this big, long S on its side, and then you play a high-frequency sound, and it's very, very close together. You know, the peaks are only, you know, a tenth of an inch apart. But if you play the two simultaneously, the high frequency would actually track or piggyback along the bass wave. That's how they communicate with submarines under the polar ice cap. They broadcast an ELF, extremely low frequency carrier wave, and then simultaneously broadcast the communication frequency, and it piggybacks through the ice. Just like if someone's playing music in the car outside, you hear the boom, 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 the thump, 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 because those long bass waves are 20, 30, 40, 50 feet long. They go right through a wall very easily. The higher frequencies, you know, where the waveforms are only, you know, an inch or half inch or quarter inch apart, those get blocked by the walls and those kinds of things. So that's why I integrate a lot of bass to act as a carrier wave for the higher frequencies.
Very cool. And I love, even with you talking about, you know, how you tested it and all of that with the having the headphones on someone's leg. I mean, that makes sense because it's energy, as you said, and as Einstein, as you brought up, said, you know, it's all energy. So it makes sense that it would be getting through to you. Now, let me ask you this. If you're listening to something, so let's say all I had was the first sample you played for us, okay? So I didn't even know if that was the right music for whatever's going on with me. It sounds like from what you said before that there would still be frequencies in there that would be right for me. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Is there a wrong guess? Is a good way of putting it?
You know, there isn't, because your intuition, your own guidance, that's infinite awareness. So your own asking or just reaching in and saying, oh, this is playing, or it just happens to already be on in the room, that's divine perfection already at work. And I think a lot of us get kind of screwed up is that we start to question what we already know. And it's like, wait a minute, I already knew in my gut or in my heart what the answer to that was, and then we start questioning our own ability to know ourselves. And my feeling is we already know ourselves. The answers are already there. It's a matter of remembering, releasing the entanglements, the restrictions, the self-doubt, the mind talk, all the stuff that whirls around, and giving ourselves that permission and just claiming our own sovereignty, our own divine essence. And the rest will fall into place.
Wow, I love that. Okay, so I would love to, if you're cool with it, I don't want to
absolutely
ask too much, but I'd love to play another sample. And then what I'd love to do is also have you just quickly remind us of what we should, as we listen to this, you know, do we set an intention or, you know, what we should do to really get the most out of this sample? Okay.
The next sample, since we were talking about higher frequencies, is actually called Receiving Higher Frequencies with Grace and Ease. And this is from a program that I was so blessed to be able to do on World Puja Network, Music, Meditations, and Inner Journeys. It was a 12-part, 12 hours long, and I created original music. But this one, Receiving Higher Frequencies, let's go ahead and set an attention. It can be the same one as we used with Gazing Within. It could be something new. It could be general or specific. I invite you to give yourself permission fully to participate in the frequency, the loving vibration of the music that was created with the intentionality of supporting people for their highest good, for their highest purpose, for where you are right now. And whether, again, you're on a path of awakening or enlightenment or health, relationship, emotional, allow the music to offer balance and harmony.
Receiving higher frequencies.
Yes.
Okay, Jim, so after this one, I actually felt like partway through I went, oh, this would be great if I was feeling, what's a good way of putting it? Well, I guess in a bad mood or just sort of like everything's a little off kilter. You know how you wake up some mornings and just things are off? And it's halfway through. Yeah, right? Who doesn't know that?
I sure do. Nobody rides for free.
Right, exactly. So halfway through it, I thought, ooh, this would be great for those times when I'm feeling just a little off kilter. Am I on track with that? Is this a good one to call on for that?
It's perfect for that. And it's perfect for you because that's how you are receiving it and perceiving it. And you know, someone else could have listened to that and could be writing in and say, you know, that one totally inspired me to go write a book, or that one totally inspired me to go out and do some gardening. And you know what? It's absolutely perfect for them as it is for you. It's the universal language. Music is the universal language. And whatever your intention is, or whatever is up for you at that point in time that the music interacts with and helps provide that environment, that safe place for you to explore that. The inquiry, to sit in inquiry. What is this about? Why is this coming up? Be open, have the courage to hear what comes through. And it could be something new. It could be something really old. It could be some old stuff that, you know, we don't have to carry it around for the rest of our lives. We've all had lots of stuff happen in our lives. And this doesn't mean you want to have it go away and act or pretend like it never happened, but we don't have to empower it so that it's in the driver's seat. This is about reclaiming who you are and being totally full and present with yourself. And music is so ideal for that because you can play it all day long. I just got a lovely email from a fellow who had gotten some of my music, and he played it all night long. And he wrote back just this lovely email just saying that it was full of glowing. That was a word that he, in capital letters, glowing. The music was glowing. And he felt that peace, that harmony, the healing, that sense of completion, that sense of movement, of not being stuck. Music moves, it flows, it evolves. The music that I create, the music that comes through has movement to it. And that's the idea. And sometimes there are those suspensions, those not necessarily dissonance, although there's underlying, there could be a little bit of that where the waveforms kind of overlap, and it all helps to move things through. You know, like a massage, or like being on, remember in the old days in the hotels, you could put your quarter in and the bed vibrated. Well, that's what it is. It's that vibration that just gently helps to release and open to the flow that you already are.
I love that. Open to the flow that you already are. I mean, that's magnificent, because that's what we are. We are magnificent. Okay, so I'm gonna push you and ask you if we can, because I think this is so exciting and so, I don't know, there's something very empowering about the music. I think that's the best way to put it. Is that an intention that you have, is to have it be empowering?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about you. It's not about me. I'm just the flow through guy, that it comes through, it processes through my body, being in hands. Yes, I've been playing music. I started when I was 5, which was 55 years ago. I'm happy to say I hit my 60th birthday this year. And yes, it is all about you, and coming through my presence, my being, the Jim that sits in the chair at the keyboards. You know, I've got about 15 keyboards all around me here, with strings and choirs and cellos and grand pianos and bells and swooshes and every imaginable texture you could want. The palette is immense. It's absolutely a play chest for me. I mean, I'm just in such joy when I go in the studio, and I always want to offer the potential and possibility for a triumphant experience, for a joyous experience. We have a piece called Crystal Star, And that's one of the threads that is part of Crystal Star, of jubilance, of magnificence. It's like a processional, like a coronation, this wonderful, empowering feeling. Other pieces of music are very quiet and gentle. Sleepy Angels is light, gentle. It's like rocking a baby in your arms. It's that absolute delicate, quiet of quietest, gentle energy. We get letters from people who play Sleepy Angels when their loved ones are making their transition. Those are two of the most intimate and delicate times in our life frame, of when we're born as a young infant and then when we transition. So I wanted to honor that and create music for that need.
So, Jim, what you were saying about, first of all, that sounds amazing about Sleepy Angels, and I love that you addressed that, and I know personally in my life I could have used that at certain periods of time. With Crystal Star, what you were saying about that, I felt really drawn to ask you. I don't know if you have a sample of that. Is that something that you do have a sample of?
Absolutely. And let's let the music speak for itself and let people experience it in their own special way. So let's have a sample of Crystal Star.
Okay, that was amazing. I feel, and I'm just expressing what I'm feeling. Jim, you can speak to this. It's not that this is what everybody should be feeling. I'm just trying to express what I'm feeling so I can get your feedback on that. I felt really like warm in the whole center, sort of like an inner warmth spreading. Mm-hmm. Is that something you've heard before?
Absolutely. And isn't it amazing that in just a couple of minutes with a piece of music, when you give yourself permission for the music to flow, how the energy flows and it lets your own vital life force amplify, magnify, resonate, come to the surface. So your circulation improves as you release those areas of stress, of distress, of tension. And the energy, your own vital life force energy can now be released into a more active flow through you. How you warm up, your fingers tingle, your thoughts become more clear. Your heart may open. However you perceive it is exactly how it is for you. And it's so unique to each person. And I hear that quite a lot.
Yeah, and I love that you say that because I really think there is no right or wrong way to experience it. It's just,
correct.
And that's also really exciting about it to me, because I get so excited about, helping people become empowered and take control of their life. And everyone is so specific that it's exciting to have a tool that is so specific. I mean, that's a really, really exciting thing. Jim, I'm actually curious, and I'd love to share this with people about, what you have seen happen. So, if you could share, and I know you've had some amazing turnarounds that you've seen from people who have worked with your music. Can you share, one or two of those stories?
Sure. So, I'd say in the early 80s is when I really started diving into specific frequencies, specific waveforms, creating specific pieces of music for people, which have then evolved into the things that are, created now. All that information is all incorporated. And we've had a number of wonderful experiences that have been shared by people. A gentleman that was in a coma. It had an infarction of the brain stem. He was in a coma, had been in a coma for about 9 months. And we started working with specific sounds. And in the context of that, he came out of the coma and started to improve, get his memory back, started to be able to walk with a walker. That was one of the most remarkable experiences that I'd ever witnessed. His wife, they brought him over in an ambulance and wheeled him in on a stretcher. And it was absolutely remarkable that there's a wonderful movie called Awakenings. That's about the work of Dr. Oliver Sacks, how music helped bring so many people that were in a coma state. So it truly does work. Whatever that unique combination of factors was that allowed this to occur, it was really amazing. So I get goosebumps when I think about it. And I'm so grateful to have been able to witness that experience. We've had people that have diabetes, and they use music to help balance their blood sugar levels, and they've done their own testing to where they will take a blood sample. It'll read, 60 to 160 is kind of the normal range, and they'll take a blood sample and they'll be at, 200. They'll drink a big glass of carrot juice. It'll keep rising. They'll play the music and it'll go down, sometimes well into the normal zone. It helps balance the emotions, which so much of the emotions are tied into our own wellness or our perception of wellness. I had a fellow that was having root canals done and was extremely sensitive to analgesic drug, Novocaine and that sort of thing. So created some tones and music, and he had 2 root canals done with no anesthetic.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I'd have tried that.
Oh no! Whoa!
And he used to ride a motorcycle in his earlier days, as did I. And we were talking about this, and it's like, wow, remember those days when you go out and you have a ride for a couple of hours, and the old two-stroke Hondas were, after a couple hours, your arms and hands were so numb from the vibration of the engine and the road and everything that you couldn't hold a glass of water.
Right.
And that was the aha. Well, wait a minute. Maybe we can find the frequencies that the tooth, and then find other acupuncture points that help drain pain or soles of the feet that ground or dissipate that energy. And I created some music for him, and that's how it was. It was just thinking about, wow, well, that makes sense. Well, the vibration numbed your arms. Well, why can't we numb your tooth? And lo and behold, it actually worked really, really well for him.
Wow.
So,
well, and I love, even with all these stories, I love that they are all, as, again, I bring up, as varied as we all are, and as varied
Absolutely.
as whatever we're all individually dealing with. And, that's thrilling to me to be able to share that. And obviously, there's so much more to learn from you, Jim. And I asked you to create a special offer for everyone who's listening to the call. So what I'm going to do, everyone, I highly encourage you, go to Jim's special offer right now to experience this for yourself, because he's going to walk you through what's there, and that is so powerful that he is going to take you through it. So just click on the special offer button on this webpage. So, Jim, let us know what we'll find there.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. When the time came to put together this special offer, we wanted to have a wide variety of tools. Music is really a tool. I wanted to be involved in music more than just entertainment, background, secondary. I majored in classical organ in college, played accompanied hymns in church, and, played nightclubs, played Vegas and Tahoe. I wanted to do something with music that it was the main event. And in this package, I wanted to offer as much variety as possible so that everyone would have access to as much resource as possible. So the first recording is Receiving Higher Frequencies with Grace and Ease. And this is a 12-minute meditation, all music, and a 25-minute meditation, all music, and then a 25-ish minute meditation, a guided meditation. And my approach to guided meditations are just softly spoken words of encouragement every minute or two. It's not this continuous running instruction. It's only every minute or two an encouraging phrase or a word. You are divine. You are whole. You are complete. And those kinds of encouraging words are spread through the guided meditation. Number 2 is resonating with your divine essence. Same format, a 12-minute and a 25-ish minute with a 25-minute guided meditation. Number 3 is the soundtracks from 3 videos that I put together, and these are the soundtracks from Essence, Starfield, and The Mystery of Love. I got so many emails from people asking for the music from these videos, and these are done actually live in the studio, so you can actually watch me playing them live spontaneously as it occurred. Just music flowed through. Number 4 is the light of integration, and we're going to be closing the call tonight with that piece. And integration is absolutely essential in this kind of work, where all the information you get from the wonderful calls and teachers and the processes and experiences, and it's all swirling around. And I wanted to create a piece of music that helps people bring that into their direct experience on a cellular vibrational level, grounded, anchored, integrated, where it's accessible in your daily life, where you are embodying all those wonderful teachings and experiences. Number 5 is the Crystal Star soundtrack and Santa Fe Moonrise crystal star is in honoring of the divine beauty and precision and knowledge of crystals. Santa Fe Moonrise was inspired by this gorgeous full moon in Santa Fe one evening. And I said, well, I just have to create a piece of music around that. Number 6 is In Touch. And this is a collection of 4 15-minute long pieces: Constellation, First Light, Reverie, and Evening Journey, that represent midnight, dawn, midday, and evening dusk. And that's grand piano with violin, beautiful violin by Emmy Howe, who's just an amazing violinist, plays with a world-renowned group called Orpheus, chamber music group. In fact, he was at Carnegie Hall 2 days before. He was in the studio recording the tracks for In Touch. It's an absolutely masterful, lovely player. Number 7 is Sleepy Angels, and that one is that light, gentle, delicate for children and the inner child within all of us. You can play it all day long, play it when you have your kids are all wound up. It's great when kids are doing their homework at home. It helps them calm down and focus. And it's also, as we talked about, lovely for when someone's making their transition. It's very reverent and respectful of energy. Number 8 is Gazing Within, and that's a beautiful piece that our buddy Kenji was in the studio when this was created. It has the quantum energy in it. It's great for deep, deep meditation, healing, and transformational experience. Number 9 and 10 is Healing Harmonies, foreground and background, and each of those is an hour long. So in this collection of music, there's almost 10 hours of music to support you in a variety of activities in your day. And Healing Harmonies is wonderful. You have friends over for dinner. It's wonderful for playing around the house if you're doing housework, if you're dusting, cleaning, if you're doing dishes, if you're cooking. As we mentioned, there's lots and lots of people that love to play my music when they're doing their creative adventures, whether they're writing or sculpting or painting, gardening. We play my music for our vegetable gardens, and they love it. And I haven't done a study where I can say yes, this and that, but we have almost no problem with bugs. When you have enclosed gardens, a lot of times you get bugs, and we just don't seem to have any problems. And our plants just grow beautifully. We just offer them some nurturing, to honor the plant kingdom. So something in this package for everyone, for every need, and it's music that you'll use over and over and over again for years and years and years.
So go ahead, click on the special offer button that's on this webpage, and we will take you right there. Jim, you have just been fantastic. Thank you, by the way, for sharing all of those samples with us, and I know we have one more we're going to share. That's really going above and beyond, and I want to express to you how much I appreciate that, because you really gave us the opportunity to not just hear about what you're doing, but actually feel it for ourselves, and that's an extraordinary thing, and I really, really want to make sure you know how much we appreciate that. And I think it would be a great way, obviously, if you have anything else you want to share with us, that's fantastic, but I'd love to end the call with one final sample, if that works for you.
That'd be perfect. I think what better way to end this with a piece of music. And I invite people, after the music has finished playing, to sit in silence and really feel the resonant vibration of the music flowing through you, you connecting with other people and allowing that to flow through. You are part of the orchestra of life. You are part of the divine symphony of life, and allow yourself to connect and let that resonance amplify and build as you sit in silence and experience yourself.
And this is called Light of Integration. Is that correct, Jim?
Yes, it is.
All right, fantastic. And everyone, I'm just going to let this play us out. So thank you all. You are all extraordinary. And Jim, thank you. You were just fantastic. And I can't wait till we can do this again. So here, everyone, is Light of Integration. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jim. Bye-bye.